Chair ke a leboga. I think, Chair, this is the one meeting that did not happen for Honorable Sithole. He was looking forward to this sort of engagement because he would tell us, I was emakaya and you literally have to go on a mountaintop to just get a network. So yeah, may his soul continue to rest in peace. Chair, I think to thank you for this meeting and to say we must find ways to formalize future engagements with this sector of communications, and even if it's maybe twice a year, because these are the people that I think fall through the cracks, and this has really been informative. So we do not treat you as the other, but as colleagues have spoken as to how important you are in the building of this society. Perhaps a blanket question to all the organizations represented. Why do you make it so difficult for customers to exit from their contracts? You end up with people being blacklisted and you say, give me a month's notice that you want to leave. And even if it is your hardware failures that make people want to leave, there does not seem to be a respect for people taking your contracts and the choice and the liberty to then say, I want to exit. Why do you make it that difficult? And Honorable Tambo has spoken to the issue of the data cost. What is the science behind it? Is it really purely on an economic business sense that you take people and they invest in buying data, and at the end of it you say, oopsie, it has expired? Is there a science to it, or is it just purely for your financial gains? And how do you think that contributes to nation building? How do you think that contributes to redressing the economic situations of South Africa? As organizations here, what is the status of really turning South Africa into an industrial zone where we talk about the cost of devices being high, but is it not going to help us to start talking about manufacturing locally? I remember there was a story about a local company, but I can't remember, but I don't think it is happening at the scale that it should be, considering where we are as a country. Or unless you are able to provide further information on that, I will really appreciate that. I'm happy that the Telecom says we are all surprised that we have electricity. And this is exactly where we are. We are really surprised that we do have electricity. With the appreciation of how load shedding has hindered your progress, how are you future-proofing yourself from that? Is there a lot of investment in solar energy? Is the solar energy enough for you to continue your operations? Because we have really spoken about the importance of having access to cell phone communications as society. Act also spoke about the use of Yusuf. I'm not going to be as harsh as Honorable Subrathi on my opinion on what you said, but mine would be to say, in your view, what would be the best use, the best benefit for that fund? Because to hear that we are still talking about slowness of universal access, but you have an organization that is transferred with the same, sitting on top of billions, it's an anomaly. So how do we balance that? And this is in the spirit of Chair saying there must be also solutions. There's also a sense that there's innovation happening within the companies, and I really also appreciated how you spoke about how you remain committed to the social obligations. But I will come back to that issue. I want to raise the issue of Nkosana John Khaba. Please do remind me, Chair. Chair, and I also noted the issue of fair regulation. I get that. Police have spoken to that. And maybe again to Act, is this now you completely oppositional to the issue of satellite? And I will not go further because I think again Honorable Tambo spoke to that. What I would like to really understand is the conversation about, to MTN, is the conversation about how you justify the cost to communicate being higher in South Africa as opposed to a country like Nigeria, for example. And when you juxtapose that with Telkom, for example, who are able to say, in 2018, you could buy 1 gig of data for 449, and they were able to lower it in 2024 to 99 rand or some. I don't know if I've got my numbers correctly, but you know what I mean. And to say, if Telkom is able to do that, why are we not at a point, and the explanation that you were giving about the issue of dotting, to say because of the spatialness of South Africa, it then becomes very difficult for you to really invest in infrastructure that makes accessibility, that's how I understood you, that makes accessibility possible. But where do you find the balance? Why can one company do that and the other not be able to do that at all? And like my colleague is saying, where is the truth between all of that? And as you also made a point about how OTTs are piggybacking on your infrastructure, and yes, we will blame the network provider to say, oh, I cannot watch my OTT, favorite OTT, whatever, because the network is bad. What engagements are you having with the OTTs, if at all? Is there an interest for them to meet you halfway, especially if you talk about infrastructure that will then improve the quality of service for ourselves as end users? Chair, I think the issue of RICA remains a thorn in our fleshes. I've had, and I can quote 3 incidents where one caller was trying to extort money from me, saying there was death threats against me. The other one, 2 weeks back, I got 3 missed calls after 9 p.m. And in the morning I called and they say, oh, this is a prison. Do you know anybody in prison? I said, I do not. No, you must know somebody in prison because somebody was calling you from prison last night. But when you check those calls, it's registered to somebody. And the most unfortunate one was a video call, and I thought, why would anybody that I do not know be video calling me? On the other hand, was somebody playing with themselves. And this is you innocently thinking, why would you video call me? And when you go and check that number, it's registered to some Solofelo Bodlani, and the picture is not even that of Solofelo Bodlani. I do beg your pardon, for you to make sense of that. So how much needs to be done for us to really take the issue of cell phone numbers regulations seriously, especially considering that we now have our children that are now having their own devices, and if something like that could happen to me, and an adult as I am, what more if it's going to be happening to our children? We have seen a move from the issue of voice calls to data calls. And again, what is your engagement with organizations such as Meta? Yeah, the Googles and them. Because at the end of the day, you are a big player in the provision of the services that they provide. How do you then engage with them? But the question here is, how do you ready yourself to then be able to not be left out of the equation with the growth of data calls as opposed to voice calls? And I also wanted to make the point about telecom. As painful as it was, the transition from telecom to where it is today, if there was no growing pains for telecom, if there was no push for telecom to be something else, we would be sitting with a situation that we are seeing now with the South African Post Office, I do beg your pardon. But telecom had that foresight to say, you move with the times. Now they talk about themselves as having data centers. A few years back, that would not even have been a thing, especially, at least not on the scale that they are having here. So big ups to telecom. Chair, there's one mathematics that is really not adding up for me. Every operator says, MTN says, I have 99% of access representation. Celsi says, I have 96%. Telkom says, I have 99%. How many pieces of cake are there so that this maths heads up? And I think Honorable Vilakazi tried to answer it to say, is the total not 100%? How could you all be sitting on over 99%? So please educate me. And this is exposing my ignorance. And Chair, while I do have time, there was a gentleman who reached out to me. He said his name was Mr. John Khaba. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. That's John. He says he is the inventor of the airtime advance. And he is again one of those people who is in court with Vodacom. And he says he's also the inventor of subscriber and device identification. I don't know how far that case went, but I think he reached out to me about a month or two ago. So I remembered when I saw Vodacom to say that is the issue. But that's not where I want to take it. I know Honorable Vilagazi spoke about the Please Call Me saga, which again, I think stifles innovation, stifles employees being able to say, this is an organization that I value. I want to also contribute to innovation. But he says, and he was saying, I was misled in the previous meeting when I spoke about the recycling of devices. Because we talk about bringing in devices, but the conversation never gets to say, how do we then dispose of devices? And he says there's ways for us to deal with e-waste. That could lead to job creation, that could lead to all other offshoots. What is your view as organizations that literally your services, your businesses hinges on getting handsets in the hands of people on the e-dumping? Chair, I think also the issue of...
Lastly.
Oh, no, Chair, remember last time I saved you time? Subanjalo. The problem is that I'm trying not to put on my glasses. Now I'm looking at my paper like that. And I was saying to Vilag, as I'm writing, but halfway I will not be able to see my handwriting. But Chair, I think we have spoken a lot about social obligations. But and I appreciate all of you saying this is something that you do from the goodness of your heart. It did not need to be something that is regulated, that is required of yourselves. But there's also a feeling that you are not happy with how social obligations happen. In your world, what would be the perfect way for you to be able to say, this is what we give back, so that we also understand as we engage with yourselves, that it's not a matter of painting 3 crashes and building 2 schools. And by when you come back, those investments, as it were, have been vandalized, and then it's a waste of money. In your world, what would be the perfect way for you to say, this is how we give?
Honorable Makate, Honorable Shongwe.
Thank you, Chair. Sanbonan futhi. Chair, data la
Sorry,
bazala.
Honorable, last time ula ukhulume ngama necklace ne, nama petrol. Ngiyakhumbuza, no necklace, no petrol today. Please, thank you, Honorable Shongwe. You may proceed.
See me, Chair. See.
I got a formal complaint about necklace and petrol. You may proceed, Honorable Shongwe.
Fiscal framework where we
No, sir. Or necklace data, Chair. Oh, okay. No, Chair. Angixolisele kakhulu kodwa ngiyayixolisela. But Chair, I had a lot of questions engizibhalela phansi. Now, CEO of MTN made me change all these questions and stick to what is important, because he spoke kamnandi as umuntu okhulele ekhaya. When he says he's one of those people who come from emakhaya, and he spoke of isimilo sakhe nokuyigqaja kwakhe ngekhaya lakhe. So, Chair, at one stage, Vodacom was visible in my township through choirs, Zamazayoni, clap and tap, sport and everything. MTN followed suit at a certain time. Celsi tried. In the past 10 years, I don't know Utibapi. I feel all these companies are now knowing Utisebagu free way of just making money, profit all the way. Which begs the question from me, Uti, Ama MNOs, what are you to the government? Are you partners? Or do you view government as a CSI project where you can just paint walls, boreholes, leave them there, give them t-shirts, leave them there, make money? Because all your profits are in billions. All your profits are in billions, and you are seriously making money now. You may hide up behind it. You can hear my salaries when you serious salaries. Embarrassing, in fact, you guys are earning so much. From our people, and Chair, I want to ask Vodacom, what's the difference between Vodacom, no Minister way to Soli, no communication, no Elon Musk? Do they share something with South Africa now? Because Minister Zami look for Elon Musk through CCPE. Vodacom has been sitting nomuntu omnyama, Chair. Isikhathi eside ayekhotha aphinda abuye ayekhotha aphinda abuye abafuni ukumkhokhela imali yakhe yento ayicreate yena. Vodacom, why are you doing this to a black person? You see, Chair, umkhonto wesizwe comes with into ethi we must do away with these Roman laws. Specifically, it's for this reason that these Roman Dutch laws are destroying our people. You can't be going to court and what is this word? Appeal. If this country can go back to Amakos, this nonsense wouldn't be happening. That guy tried on this thing yakhe, the case yakhe. Right now he's getting old. Are you waiting for him to die before you say something or do something? Chair, we are failing Chinedu government, failing in South Africa, ngalama MNOs. You, Chair, sitting there, have been trying to get these MNOs to come here. Since I started this parliament, you've been trying to get them to come here. These people are ruling us. So I don't understand. I want to know, that's my question, Guti. Ningobani nina, who are you between nina and the government? Are you partners? Or nisbona as CSI projects? So nisiphe ama giveaways isihlale lapha eceleni. That is very, very wrong. Number two, what I want to know, Chair, is that there are access to the suppliers of these apps, such as Netflix, X, and the rest. If I don't have a phone and have a SIM card that is Telkom, Cell C, MTN, and all the rest, I wouldn't have access to those apps if I'm not at home. What are you doing to help us, Sibuyisi Smile, South Africa, when you ask Elon Musk law and nimbonayo nganandaba ne South Africa? Efaki phone engaka emafonini, what have you done with that much access to porn? Anybody can just access it, as simple as that. What have you done? Because you are the door to this everything here. When I'm coming from townships or Emakaya, I don't see Uguti Netflix is coming from Netflix. I see Netflix coming from Cell C and MTN or whatever, because my phone is that network. So I need us Uguti Sibuyisi Smile, and also remind you Uguti, government in South Africa must take charge. And you must follow suit in protecting our country. No would leave to carelessly, so it's very, very bad in Tenenza. We find ourselves, CEO, where at some stage my number was given to somebody borrowing money through my number. But when you go to a township, you can buy a SIM card from Spaza shop and get it recorded there. And recording is the most important thing. The most important, if we can check. But how can it be if it's the key of this cyber security, but you can get it to Abu, my friend, and easily record that card for R5? Why are you doing that to South African guys? Why are you MNOs no longer caring about South Africa? What is your return of investment, manje, as we speak? Asanbone malokishini, asanbone emakhaya. Go to emakhaya where uSisi Bodlani ekhuluma ngendaba kaBaba. You go to most of those freeways, you'll find girls sitting on top of those side of the road, those silver things. They are there because of network. After school until late. It can't be good to 2025, so many years, guys, you can't fix network problem in Makaya. Guys, you are seriously neglecting about South Africa and So I need you guys to help us in that situation. Let's take charge and care for our people. Rain came in very expensive, and they've forever been expensive. They say they have CSI projects. Where? Are you doing these things, guys, just to pass the buck? Who can have access to you guys, and where? And how? Che kunamakwaya wamaZion. Those choirs, per choir has a minimum of 40 young children, young boys and girls. And every Saturday, I can tell you, clap and tap, amaZion, every Saturday, they are somewhere in a hall, singing. That thing helps to eliminate crime. These MNOs are not there to help them at all, Chair. They're just sitting here making billions. Siyacela nibavulele. And the chair, I'm going to say this. Let it be we are called or corrupt or whatever, taking advantage. I don't care anymore. What we want is services to our people. Can you guys open doors for us? I'm bringing Lwabantwana laba to you guys. Can I have appointment into your offices? Gize nabo bazohlala nani phansi, because they can't write proposals. They can't get access to you. They can't speak the language you want them to speak. And immediately they have a middleman in between. That person eats the money because he understands these processes. So I ask that you open your doors for those children. Crime is huge, guys. You should be playing a very huge role in eliminating crime in South Africa. So we ask that you do that. But I beg, Vodacom, aniyeke le nonsense, anibhadaleni lo mfowethu azokwazi asiphilise. Asafuna ukuthi siyixoxe into ukuthi ubuyele ecourt wenzakalani, iyekeni leyo nto leyo. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shaw. These guys,
No, thank you, Chair.
Mr. Mdlalose?
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I think what I'll do is maybe just take a few matters that were directed specifically at Vodacom, and maybe just add 1 or 2 points on the generic matters. I think firstly the matter with Mr. Makate, and please call me. I think it's important to say categorically that this is not about dragging it out. This is before the Constitutional Court, and we too await the outcome of that. We have in various ways tried to engage and come to a table. We simply have not agreed on quantums, and it's before the Constitutional Court. So I think just to leave that one there for the moment, that one. On RICA, this is a big challenge for many of our customers. Many people's data is stolen in terms of their phones are hacked and so on. And the key element on RICA will be that switch. We've been working as an industry collaborative with the Department of Justice, but it is to make that legislative switch to enable and enforce biometric registration. A registration that links, that when someone registers for a SIM card, that registration needs to link back to the Home Affairs database, to the harness database, and give and be a point that can verify that. And unless that happens, it doesn't continue. So really bring in the biometric element, but also start to limit, for example, legislation that limits the number of SIM cards that one person can own. And those are the kind of legislative measures we need to be able to collectively deal with the issue and improve the RICA framework and registration legislation.
1 minute, CEO.
Thank you, Chair. Another specific one on Vodacom, in fact it was for all, was about exiting contracts. Important to say that when contracts are entered into, particularly most of those involve a device. That's part of that contract. And what has happened with that device is, as an MNO, we've gone and we've procured the device from the OEM. We have put money into that device to reduce the cost of it. So we've invested in it on the basis that a customer will be with us for 24 months or 36 months. If that customer is going to leave early, then we would need to recoup the price or the cost of the device. And so that's some of the complexities that sometimes come up with regards to the different areas. Honourable Chair, I think I will leave it at that, and maybe all the others we will bring through in writing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.